that team, he was still a part of an EMEA Masters winning team, now playing in the Arabian
Yeah.
League.
I mean, shout out to Paris, by the way. That guy is an absolute monster, who we'll see later on in the tournament. But a huge guy here is San Juan, right? San Juan was a part of Rad last split, but then he ended up getting replaced by another guy, moves on towards Anubis, and ends up winning the entire thing on that Anubis lineup, something Rad were very, very close to doing in spring. So that guy has a lot to prove. He's proven it. He did some very nice tweets when he finally did prove it. Like, it's being a mad story for San Juan, and I'm excited to see it continue to go.
It will be an exciting and an important game in the group we've been following mostly throughout the day. As Anubis look to try and secure their spot at the second place for now, because tomorrow's result can change pretty much everything in the group still for Brute. Really need to step up here. Interesting draft, as you said. You are intrigued by the AD carry Lucian mid lane, and you like the thought of the Kaiser's extra range, right? Anything else you've got going in for Brute?
Well, I mean, the fact that they have mixed damages because of this, right? And the fact that you know that Kaiser's going to do that, and there isn't really an equivalent. Like, the Jace is your equivalent on your opponent, so I need to see how this mid lane matchup ends up going. Silk, though, with PTA, you're basically saying that you're expecting to hard win this laning phase, and he is getting a lot of priority early. Aggression
Good
from
trades,
Anubis on
man.
bot.
Really good trades.
Yeah.
I mean, they forced Raining to use Flash, he had to recall as well. Now, though, an engage on the level 2 being hit by the side of Brute, trying to trade back in the lane where Michel was the one deciding when it actually needed to happen, but both flashes gone after the engage from Pito here. Means that now they could be in a bit of trouble if San Juan and Michel decide to go.
Yep, Sam 1 though, last remaining flash on the board on bot lane, and Hex Flash available from Michel.
Pito could be locked up here. W for San Juan means that he can't pull back the feathers with the Blade Caller. So, wasn't really in too much danger, just able to walk out of it regardless though. There's a lot of action happening down towards the bot side, and I think we need to keep our eyes here because it feels like it's not quite over yet.
Yep. Top side, Rumble getting heavy fire, but Jace definitely struggling into this Lucian on the mid lane. Very much struggling with the priority on both mid and bot. For Brute, Jarvan trying to take advantage to it. Trying to go for the Gromp here, getting backed up by Peto on an extended invade. Sees blue buff hasn't been done yet. EMEA, honestly, he could just reset and move to claim topside Scuttle and get his respawn camps, and he'd be fine with that!
Oi, 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 looking for that first blood, and now on the bot side jungle, there's a lot of action. Pito, the one locked up as well as Michel, but he gets the first blood instead, and he's now able to walk out of the fight. San Juan stepping up, but they haven't fully commit. EMEA could potentially look for a re-engage if San Juan could follow over the wall, but instead, he has to flash away. Flag and drag flash, not able to connect thanks to a good flash from EMEA, and Anubis get away with murder there, getting the first blood and not losing that mid laner.
Yep, I mean, Anubis, if they're going to contest that, they have to get the kill. There are nicer ways to go about that. You weren't really at a level of HP on bot side that you're worried about Jarvan getting an early dive. But they do go for the contest. They do manage to make that contest work. That's very similar, honestly, to how EMEA was playing back on the Wildcats. He was a very aggressive player, and Wildcats do love that kind of aggression, and he's bringing that out on Anubis as well. He's going to collect that Scuttle. He's not bothering to press B, and he has his respawn camps on top side. But if he was to recall now, he could come out on the map on whatever side he wanted to. He'd have camps spawning on bot, he'd have camps spawning on top.
Cypher's in a little trouble here. I think he might be dead. No flash. No real way to get out of this as long as one CC hits, and it does. That means he's dead. Ares gets the kill though, so Silk doesn't quite benefit from that as much as he would have liked, but it gives him free time. There's no TP as well on Clipper, so he will be gone for a while.
He will be gone, but it's not like Lucian is immediately crashing the wave on midsection there. It has to stay for a little bit longer, so he'll lose some priority, and Lucian has to press B before he can capitalize on the gold lead that he has over the Jace. So right now, Jace simply has an extra back over the Lucian. Not quite seeing the state of the lane there. Yeah, this will just slow push back in eventually. This isn't a hard freeze whatsoever. So Jace isn't going to lose that much on this phase, but if Anubis don't get something in the next couple of minutes before Lucian is allowed to just recall and come back out and towards the map, that's when it could start causing issues. And Silk is going to be stuck here on this bounty move. You could see Elromir move mid and try to get something for Cypher.
A lot of action in this early state. Like what I've seen from Brute so far, showing some action and willingness to fight back against Anubis that was very aggressive early on, especially towards that bot side. So far, 1,000 gold lead for the Arabian representatives. But this game can definitely still change as Elromir has started up the Drake. Ares should be able to spot it alongside with Pito. Haven't quite thrown a ward in there yet, but Elromir senses that something is up and drags the Drake out a bit.
Yep, and Silk knows that he needs to get the recall on mid lane. They're playing very, very aggressively. Knows if he drops HP but doesn't die, that's still good for him. And now he's in a position where he can back up Brute on going for a contest on this Drake, or maybe even recall himself. Because but Brute themselves were too hesitant on either call. They didn't go for the contest. Lucian did not press B. So Lucian's still stuck in lane for an extra play. Hasn't been able to capitalize on his advantage yet. And still in a bit of a vulnerable spot. Interesting to go for the Drake over the play on mid though. Right, no flash on that Lucian. With the wave definitely crashing, you'd think getting that kill for the Jace could then translate into an extended Drake scenario where no side gets Drake and you can get the Drake on the next pass, but instead very objective oriented decisions made by Anubis, whereas Brute on the other hand was struggling to make any kind of decision at all.
Yeah, it could benefit them as the game goes on as well, regardless though there is a Herald spawning in 45 seconds as well, so we'll see how objective oriented Anubis will continue to be throughout this game, and if that's something that they will look to get their hands on, as level 6 and level 7 starting to come through, so the ultimates will be there as Elromir goes in for this. The level advantage is there, so you could lock up Ares for quite a while. No flag and drag for a couple of seconds, and Cypher just needs to dunk down on this kill and he will acquire it. That's a lot of gold into the mid lane as Pocket, a nice pickup, especially as the Herald spawning in twin.
Yeah, definitely starting to get the feeling that one of these guys is very practiced as a team, but continuing to be one of the safest supports ever released by Riot Games. Just throw another dash out there, mate. I know you have one in you, alright? Jarvan moving in towards River there before Lucian actually has the crash, before Lucian is actually able to move in to help him secure that with no real pressure. Jace gets the angle, Jace gets in first, Rumble gets in, obviously having a lot of priority from top side. There is no real way for the Jarvan to be able to play that, just gets taken out. So one team clearly very practiced in that dance that we saw Go doing. The other team definitely not quite as practiced and not as aware of the opportunities, or perhaps just not being punished as much in their home region.
And with Sand down to half HP, Brute are getting some control over the spot lane yet again. A very even game state down here, but it feels like one good engage from Pito could potentially get a kill, or a couple summoners into the hands of Brute, but it is Anubis going forward first. A bit surprised by that, but Michel looking for the engage and forcing Pito back with the Herald on the map. Brute have rotated up, spot the ward. Elromir is in the area though. Silk does have the flash, but he's down to half HP, could get caught out. The bandage goes remarkably wide there, and they won't be able to lock anyone down. And with the early rotation coming in here from Ryoto, it seems like Yuso won't be looking to come down and help out his jungler here.
I mean, if you're able to just secure the crash on
reset.
top side, secure the crash on midsection, then not only can you contest this, but if they were to go for it, they can't drop it top, they can't drop it mid, you can set up bots so they can't drop it there. I think the way Anubis just continued to play out the map, both secured them the Herald and secured them options if Brute's Herald was way faster than anticipated. So, well done by Anubis. Patient play, they just maintained the map state as it was. They recognized we're in a winning position, let's keep going, Herald is overrated. And they've been rewarded with both the Herald and that map state that we were talking about. So, well played by them. A 2k gold lead now, coming towards the 10-minute point where Unleashed Teleport's going to enter. And both teleports are going to be up on both carries on both sides. So, let's see what happens for the next map play.
It seems to have been built on the back of these small leads that Anubis have been able to acquire. The Herald could build that gold lead even further into their favor. I think that's a pretty simple way to put it, as we do see gold leads in pretty much every single lane, some leads bigger than others. In particular, the top lane is where I'm noticing a 1,000 gold lead has developed from Yuso, and he's been all on his own. He's simply been out farming, getting the plates as well. Throw a Herald up to that guy, and you have a fed Rumble that will be hard to deal with a Cypher. Caught out here in a 1v3, forced to use the flash, and it seems like Brute just happy to get that cooldown.
At least this rotation, trying to overload mid lane, that seems to be something that Brute really do like to do. But they find the flash here. Will they have the opportunity to capitalize on that flash in the next 5 minutes? Because if not, this ultimately won't give them too much. There isn't another Herald for 5 minutes. The Cloud Drake is coming up, and it's only going to be a singular Cloud Drake with no Cloud Soul to be stacked. So if Anubis want to, they can just avoid that fight entirely.
Let's see here, Mitchell looks to clear out the control ward. And Elramir is down towards the bot side with the Drake spawning, as you said. I think Sam was able to gain one more plate there to build up that lead just a tiny bit, but his first item comes through from Raining. He might be at a bit of disadvantage if they were to fight now. A lot of unspent gold here on Sam, you would have to imagine. Let's see who gets the lane control. Ares is down here as well, looking to maybe help down Silk. Elramir goes on towards Pito. Does have the curse of the Sad Mummy, but doesn't use it. Holds on to it for now, as he might be sensing a big Drake fight coming up.
Yep, Jace with no flash there, but look at the top lane. Lumber with an immense amount.
Second bandage shots. The burst might just take him down before he's able to dash away. And that's Cypher, who just gets another free kill on the jungler thanks to Elramir's good work. And that Pito dies at the hands of the Anubis bot lane. They find 2 quick kills, and now they're on towards the second Drake.
Brute being pushed in everywhere and out of sync at every part of the map. But all of this map setup stuff, all for naught if you are just going to lose. And these individual skirmishes.
Oh,
really
shot blast went wide. Silk does have the flash, so if he waits for the cooldowns, he can look for it, but it would be risky. It would be oh so risky for the Brute mid lane. Let's see this one more time as Ares just gets caught out. No flag and drag.
Yep, everybody on the delay here. Brute, not quite sure what Petto is doing. He literally just watched them walk in towards that blush. Where does he think they're going, given that
maybe
the play
looking
on
mid,
the
I don't
Jarvan
know.
is over? Yeah, I mean, he's assuming that they must be looking mid
Cypher?
for sure, but...
He messed that up, by the way.
They're
Did you see that?
just going to do... Yeah, I mean, if you can dodge a JC, you can dodge a bull, you know?
I mean... Oh! That's actually a nice enough
Oh!
engage though from Cypher. Not rather Cypher, sorry, Pito.
Dodge
who
this.
catches out Cypher. I mean, that was a clean Rakan. I respect that as a former Rakan main myself.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, the champion's a little bit overtuned, but I respect
come on,
it,
man.
and I respect
You say
the
that
play.
about
I
every
respect
champion who
the
looks
play,
good when a player plays it.
Yes, I do
Say
say
that about Gwen as well. I mean, Gwen is overtuned, so I understood that point. But
you are
Rakan,
naming
come on.
overtuned champions. You're
No,
naming
not
overtuned
Rakan.
champions.
Come on.
Okay, I'm not sat here saying Lucian is so broken, man, am I?
No, you're not. But you're saying Rakan is broken because he got a
Yes.
kill. And he had just been blown up previously. I mean, the champion clearly has downsides as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just, like, getting CC locks forever, then yes, you're probably going to lose there. I'll agree with you on that one. I'll meet you on there, alright? Yeah,
I mean...
For sure.
I am a bit of a League of Legends knowledge guy myself, you know.
True. True.
I think this turret is dead as well from Anubis.
So it's dead, and top
Yeah.
lane is being pushed in favor of Anubis, and mid is being pushed in favor of Anubis, so there is no response play possible unless you gank, and that's why Jarvan's hovering for the gank. But what happens? Jace knows that Jarvan can't be bot side, leans...
Oh, Cypher has good damage, but not good enough, and in a 1v2, he's unable to finish up Silk, and that means he will pick up the kill. Bit of an overextension there from the Anubis mid laner, who has all 3 deaths now on his team's back. The equalizer comes down on Silk, but not quite enough damage, and now Ares has to get himself away. Usually simply rotating down into the mid lane, maybe looking to push in here.
Okay, but the rotation from top in towards mid,
Ramir?
right?
He's in a 1v3 at the moment. Curse of the Sad Mummy comes out, and they look to trade back on towards Ares, and they get him Silk doing good damage, but not good enough to take down Elramir. Now Michel in the front, and here comes the Onan from the backline, though, looking for San. Very good Featherstorm there to keep him alive. Jukes the CC as well. Now a TP in from Cypher on the backside of the fight. Raining has both storms to look to get out. He throws the Shock Blast into the abyss, looking for the snipe, but unable to get it. And that means they might not have the damage to finish up either Raining or Pito, and they're both so low. The flames bit are not quite enough. Cypher, had you just thrown the bomb at them, you would have gotten the kill. But instead, they'll both survive with a sliver of HP.
Yeah, I mean, Anubis, they are playing the early game dance beautifully. You can see Rumble coming in towards mid from that topside play there. Elramir on the grouping first, right? All of Anubis on this grouping first. If it wasn't for Cypher, going just a little bit too early in for that 1v2, just waiting for his Leona to come in first, or waiting for Rumble to move in towards mid first and continue to kite back towards his team, then they would lose absolutely nothing here, and they probably just exterminate the entirety of their opponents. Anubis map play is very, very, very impressive. It's not the kind of thing that you are used to seeing from what we would call the minor leagues. It shows that whereas the Arabian League might have a minor status as a technicality in the ERLs, they're definitely not showing us gameplay of that kind of status. Everything right now, very
Cypher could be in trouble, does have the flash. Will he hold on to it? No, because he has a backup. So here is a Yuzu, now in a 1v3, lays down the red carpet.
Oh!
There to lock up Silk, who with the flash will still die, uses it, but to no avail. There is no way out when Anubis looks to chase you down, as Ares falls as well. You should have banned the Rumble, guys.
Dude, these rotations are so clean, and also on that play, Rumble pinpoint landing his ultimate on the Lucian, then slowing him down just enough for Amumu to lock him in place for the full duration. That was sick, and yes, a very confident Rumble player coming in. You're seeing why it's banned so heavily against him. If you don't have a plan specifically for the Rumble, I don't think you leave this up. And look at the confidence on this play here. The ultimate coming out actually does briefly hit all of them. Silk getting locked up by Amumu after the Rumble ult comes down. And now this guy is in the zone. He's feeling it. He's on his champion. Everyone has that one champion that they know they can do things on. And we're clearly seeing what that is for Juzu. And
Jesus.
little bit of regrets coming out from Brute maybe when it came to that draft phase.
He's 2,000 gold ahead of his opponent at 17 minutes. Yes, I mean, Santa's pretty much the same, but that's a lot of gold lead, especially considering how alone Yuzu has been left throughout most of the game. So a lot of this lead is built up on his own. Yes, maybe 1,000 of it comes from the kills and, you know, playing with his team, but he's been building up a big lead all on his own. Third Drake sword point now, 70 minutes into the game, spawning Anubis with the priority and the help of the Herald. Could look to take a turret and then maybe go for the Drake afterwards.
Yep, but look at this. The only response play possible is a tier 1 top, and I've often liked to say I'd trade a tier 2 on side for a tier 1 on mid. Anubis winning very hard right now.
Oh, they want the fight though. The Herald is already charged and will be taking up the turret, but they're peeling back and they're taking down Ares first. Pito very low, but not quite dead, as it's Silk who managed to finish off EMEA. Both junglers gone. Good blade caller there to do some damage on Silk if they're looking for something on the way back, but overall a successful fight for Brute, who get a 1-for-1.
Yeah, kiting back, doing as much damage and harassment as they can. This Cypher guy, an extremely aggressive player. Sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, but I do love the edges that he's playing on.
Yeah, this time didn't work though, as Cypher falls for the 4th time this game. You can definitely say it's a all or nothing kind of playstyle that he is whipping out, and you have to respect it to some degree, but when you're on the biggest stage that the ERLs have to offer, is that the time, as it is now Brute turning towards their first neutral objective of the game.
Have you ever tried to get a quiet guy to open up? It's much better to get the extroverted guy to calm down than to get the introverted guy to switch up. And Cypher there,
could really do stuff here. He could do good work. Doesn't have the equalizer, but as they see him standing at the Blastcom, they back off.
It's a big if. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge if. They would have to commit so hard for a singular Ocean Drake. Yes, they would deny Soul Point, but if you're just going to get aced for denying Soul Point, you definitely have lost Soul Point anyway.
Yeah,
so,
that's a point.
Big ask for Juzu to do something there, but a good angle by Juzu nonetheless. It does secure them the Drake. Going for the definitive play. Sam1 and Juzu, they're the calm dogs in this scenario, and Cypher, he's the one that just won't stop barking. It's a beautiful dynamic, and it does work out overall for them. But I'm thinking how scary this team would be once Cypher knows fully the limits to which he can play here. Because honestly, like, this is the most impressive being all day by map play. And I've seen an LFL team play, so that is saying something.
I mean, you did also say that Go's only one real win condition was win lane, win game.
Yes. But I'm really trying to, like, big up Anubis here, you know? Like, it's like a, you know, so if I just say an LFL team...
Yeah,
like,
true. Then people think you might have watched Kickoff vods or something. I don't know.
But, dude, if you just say a team is good, people just assume everything about the team is good, right? So I think Go is good. So now people read... Oh.
Raining is corner, and he's dead.
Yeah?
Death by fire. I mean, it is one of the most painful ways to die, I believe, so... Hard one for him there as he dies the first time this game.
It's a difficult game for Brute. Like, they do have to force. I like this chase. I also liked when they force the engage on the tier 2 and mid. I like these angles that they're trying to find, right? It's not perfect, but they do need to find something. They recognize they were in a losing map state after that tier 1 went down the mid, and they went all in for the fight, and they almost got... I hate Rumble. Actually, I love Rumble, what am I saying? They almost got a winning situation and a Drake off of it, but that's what they have to do. They have to group and fight, and they have to do it in scenarios where Anubis aren't able to have their full numbers. But if they don't do that, they will just lose, and you don't want to go quietly into the night. League of Legends is not a game that lets you go quietly. If you go quietly, you're just asking to lose. If you're in a losing position, turn it into a 50-50, and you're in a better position than you were before.
Now, let's see if they will stand up for themselves one more time, Brute, and look to get an even fight, maybe in one that is in their favor. The problem is, though, there's a lot of damage. Despite Cypher being 2 and 4, he still has a lot to offer in this game. Mitchell, though, caught out here, and Juzu very quickly forces them away with his damage. Mitchell, though, is low as here comes Rio. Toe, kill instinct on the back line. Now has the flash, has already used it to get out. For the time being, good damage back though on Elrami, and now they're locked up in the Cataclysm, but Silk can't step up because he loses in the straight damage fight against the carries of Anubis. Yet another 1-for-1 fight where the junglers are the sacrifice.
If Rumble had R up in that fight, they would not have been able to enter the river whatsoever, but he didn't, and so they start off with the pick on Leona, and they push it all the way through. Yes, it's going to be the hardest one for you to kill, but you have to try to kill someone, so I respect it, and they go all in for this. They burn all their TPs. It's an opportunity. Raining burns his R to go in. These guys understand every single chance that we have to win this game could be our last chance. We have to go all in all the time. They're not choking here, right? This is good play by Brute to decide that we must play on this potential opportunity. As minuscule as it might be, it's a better one than if we just let the game continue as is. So respect to everyone doing that. Particularly, Raining's ult there was so dangerously close, an auto away from actually killing that Leona with the passive prop. He was able to do that. Could look very, very different. They could maybe even keep turning.
There's definitely still a game here, that's what we will have to say. 2.5 items, they are getting ever so close on their carries, in particular Raining on this AP Kaiser build. That third item is a massive spike for your damage output, so will be huge for him once he finally manages to get it. The problem is, though, as we have to see what happens here, the Cypher able to walk it off this time. The Raining is 3,500 gold down to a San, who has 3 items and is looking very, very strong with his heavy AD build.
Yeah, very strong indeed. Elrami playing really far up. Ornn ult is down.
Yeah, Ornn is cold, but San just jukes all the damage and turns it right back around. Yuso will pick up the kill, and there's slightly more to come. That is an incredible equalizer, and it's looking oh so good for the Arabian representatives, who will take down 4 and only lose 1.
This guy's ultimates are on all game on this champion. A very practiced
so good.
Rumble player. Yes, a very practiced Rumble player is in the game. Rumble, champion that is literally all damage. The way that he is balanced, if you hit one ability, you should be able to hit the rest and you should be able to kill them. And this guy is fully confident in that. He's throwing everything. I'm going to be so interested to see the damage shot at the end of the game, because you're used to just seeing the AD carry steamroll through on damage, maybe the mid laner, but this game, I think that top lane is going to have a lot of numbers on that page.
He is incredible. Just look at San here at the beginning of the fight. How does he dance around the engages from the side of Brute? Hops over the ultimate from the Ornn, Juke San's engage, and now look at Yuso's. Oh my god, the red carpet. It is absolutely phenomenal. It hits all the targets that he could have wanted, and then the engage there from Cypher to secure a kill for them as well. The game's not quite over, but as long as Yuso is alive, it might as well be. And if they get the soul, it's certainly done.
5 seconds to Rumble ultimate. If BRT aren't in the river at that point, it's going to be very difficult for them to do so. They have to enter in a split manner, because if they all crowd around one of these choke points, that's a very free Rumble ultimate, and Juicy will pull the trigger on that with zero hesitation.
Let's find the target. Yurai's able to just jump out to safety with the flag and drag. Here comes the on-horn. Let's see how they play the fight. Look at Sand yet again. Very good equalizer. Sand jumps up, and he will throw the blades back. The feathers there to secure the first kill for him. And it's just a massacre. They jump into the waiting arms of Yuzo, who with the flame splitter is able to dish out yet again a mountainous amount of damage. As now it looks like Anubis could
Wow.
Look at the damage. He's
21K.
dealing the most in the whole game.
Yep, 21k. Least powerful Rumble player right there. A practiced Rumble player will do phenomenal amounts of damage. They'll outstrip everybody. Juzu is showing the raw power of this champion. That particular team fight though, Brute did a good job playing around his equalizer. He was only able to get a 2-man equalizer there. They did not position for a 5-man, but unfortunately when the Jarvan ultimate came out, when it collapsed on all of Anubis, it became a situation of, we're not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with us. And Anubis still had all the damage at that melee range, including the Rumble, to be able to take them all out. See here, the way that they are approaching this, they don't want to all be on catwalk. They are split to the extent that Rumble can only get 2 on there, but now they are all inside Rumble's flame splitter, inside Sand's damage. The amount of damage coming out of Anubis means you cannot move in like that if Raining and Silk aren't able to belt out the damage of their own. And even then, I think in a straight burst, Anubis just have too much, as they found out. Looks like a good engage, but the reality is you just delivered yourself to opponents who are more than happy to see you in their face, in their current form. So an Ocean Soul for Anubis. They just want to set up this Baron properly, get a huge advantage from it, and potentially even just look to close the game in one fight.
I mean, they could just take the fight right here. It looks like Elramir does. Well, oh my god.
Wow.
That's a tank, by the way.
High damage champions here though.
50%.
We're focusing on the Rumble, right? Because the Rumble play has been exquisite here, especially those ultimates. But Jace is a monstrously broken champion once he gets items. And Cypher, bit of a coin flip this game, but now he's able to match that aggression with good items. Xayah very frequently tops damage chance a lot. It's such a high damage comp from Anubis, and it's doing so well.
The damage is absolutely immense, and it feels like the Cataclysm is working counteractive here to what Brute wants to do, because when you group them in the Cataclysm, they're all inside the Flame Splitter. When you jump in there to try and kill them, so not really working in the sense that they have hoped for, and I don't know what they thought letting through that Rumble. It is always banned against you, so you don't let him get the Rumble, but they let him do it on the biggest stage the ERLs have, and they're being punished for it. Look at the equalizer yet again. It is absolutely phenomenal every single time. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 performance from this guy with the perfect KDA. Hasn't died, and here comes the final push from Anubis. They'll look to get themselves up to 2-1 scoreline. They take down Silk, who had really been the only remaining pillar of hope for Brute to not go 0-3, but nothing can stop Anubis here as they look to take the game. They have the Soul, they have the Baron, and as they find and engage, yes, they go onto Sand, but look at the Flame Splitter dishing out the damage in the meantime. They found 1 carry, but there are still 2 dishing out the damage. It's a double kill for Cypher. It's the game for Anubis, and they move their score up to 2-1 at EMEA Masters play-ins.
Bravo to Juzu. Immaculate play by him, but the